3, 2, 1. See, that's my interpretation of a Michael Bay movie. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, literally the final action set piece in this movie where there's more explosions than I remember being in the first fucking Transformers movie.
There's so many, but anyway.
And this is his first one. This is the first thing. He went nuts. He went this nuts this soon. I mean,
yeah. But anyway, guys.
That takes dedication.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the Baycast. I'm your host, Jacob. And
I'm a co-host, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are here to discuss every single Michael Bay movie. Now, I came up with this idea for a podcast because, I consider myself, a pretty big movie fan. I've seen your Star Wars, I've seen your Marvel, I've seen your Eyes Wide Shut. I consider myself a
Quiet Place 2.
Yeah, Quiet Place 2.
Under the Mask.
Yeah, I realized I should really expand my film palette, and there's a director who's been sorely lacking in that, and that director's name is Michael Bay. And I want to thank my co-host here, Michael, for joining me in this endeavor. So we watch every single Michael Bay movie in preparation for his new upcoming possible masterpiece, Ambulance.
If Ambulance isn't the best movie of the year, I'm gonna eat a full ambulance on camera.
So we have, I think he's made roughly 18 movies. So
somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah. So we'll have 18 episodes, and maybe after that we can discuss some his quasi sequels or movies he produced after,
or shit he produced. Example that comes to mind would be the TMNT movies. He clearly had involvement, but he didn't technically direct them.
Yeah. All right, but we'll get to that later. So.
Oh yeah, we've got time.
We have time. So I want to start this episode just by talking about just a couple little pieces of trivia. By the way, actually, no, I'll talk about one. We'll do Michael Bay fact a day. So I have this one pulled up right here. It says many of Michael Bay's movies are backed by the Pentagon. He has a direct line to film correspondent at the Pentagon, and here's a direct quote from him: "The military likes me because they look good in my movies, and I am a world-class ass kicker."
It's a good quote. I'm pretty sure half of the first Transformers takes place in the fucking Pentagon, so that makes sense.
So I guess, which even
symbiotic relationship between Michael Bay and the military, and it's so fun to see with going at Bad Boys, 1995 release. It's a cop movie, not a military movie. With how little, there's no tanks, there's no Ospreys, there's no, there's old-fashioned, fancy cars, but there's no concept Camaros. It's, in some ways, it is unmistakably Michael Bay, but in other ways, it is interesting to see him develop into his usual.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Malignant style.
I guess you could put it that way. So yes, Bad Boys, 1995, first film by Michael Bay, starring Lawrence Fishburne, then Will Smith. Lawrence Fishburne was listed first, which would never happen today. I'm pretty sure at Bad Boys 2, they switched it up.
Lawrence, Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh my god. Oh my. I feel so bad.
That was one of the biggest surprises of the movie. Is that in there, Martin Lawrence is, I believe, at least within this, he is ultimately the main character. Will Smith may be the partner, but he is more of an idea.
Yeah, there's definitely more Martin Lawrence than Will Smith. I'm sorry, Martin Lawrence. You are not Lawrence Fishburne. You should
get the I'm not Lawrence Fishburne shirt that Sam Jackson has.
Yeah. So I think the basic plot of this movie is that what surprised me the most is that this wasn't an origin movie. They're already a duo, a police duo together for what they said 6 years or something. So 6 years. So we're basically already thrust into them, and I guess it's basically just them against a drug mafia, and they hold this other girl hostage.
Pretty much. We'll get to her I have some things, some thoughts on that character, especially, but let's
Yeah.
not get ahead of ourselves.
So what? So Michael, what did you think of Bad Boys One?
Of the movie overall, I when I reviewed it, I'm not like, oh, review. I'm look at my review. I just do it out of like reflex. I don't care if you like my review or not, or if you even see it. But I likened it. This may seem like a strange comparison, but I can elaborate to Red Notice. Both are very of the time popular actors in what are effectively the most formulaic stories anyone could imagine for two actors with good chemistry to have.
Yeah.
They're not that similar in specifics, but well, I say good chemistry. I think that is the best aspect of the movie. It is the relationship between the main characters, how they bounce off against each other, and how they respond to the world around them. Because frankly, I don't think most of the movie, the outside of them, is actually any good.
Yeah.
But
This is a very, very 90s movie. It's like it's the exact banter you'd expect, where they talk about like nonsense and they spew like fucks like all the time. Even though even though it doesn't like this isn't like how like actual dialogue would be said in the real world, but it's not supposed to
I,
be like that.
I agree with them being vulgar, but for most of the movie, I was surprised it didn't say the F word as much for it being rated R. And then the tire salesman said "fuck" every line. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess that's where they went. But
Also,
yeah.
yeah, I took some notes here. I actually have two
Oh,
pages
oh,
of notes I
you came
wrote.
prepared. I just
Yeah.
internalized everything I'm
Yeah.
going to say.
Um. So this was definitely a movie where you have to see how Michael Bay treated women, where a woman is sexualized in the first like 2 minutes of the movie, so they could like rob Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's character, and then they kick their ass and like one of them, and like I think like Martin Lawrence kicks some guy in the dick, and
Yeah,
this will
yeah.
show how they're
He
bad
cartoon
boys.
movies him in the dick.
Yeah. Ye- Also, I was gonna say the opening credits, like literally every single like 80s and 90s movie, like the opening credits just like aerial shots, like cityscapes, generally like
Oh
during the
my, oh my fucking
sunset.
god,
Yeah.
yeah. It was. I mean, I get you got to get the names out, and this is before they had the confidence to put names over things that are happening.
Yeah.
Of course, which only started in the early 2000s. But
Mhm.
about the beginning of the movie, I was curious because I the first scene with their dialogue I thought was very amusing, but it felt like almost too different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it, so I looked up trivia and that scene was added like weeks before the movie came out because Michael
Oh.
Bay's like their regular intro is not funny enough, and that explains a lot.
Yeah.
I
You're right.
and about the credits, I don't know. It might have just been me a suit like with once again my expertise on Bay is the Transformers movies, unfortunately. So everything in those movies is actually CG. But the cityscapes in this felt wrong. They felt like fucking GTA 3 cityscapes.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was
Honestly,
looking at real buildings. So I don't know if I was at any point.
I
So
think.
even you made the point that it's just boring because it's just whatever music with names popping up every 5 seconds over cities. I'm not even sure if they're real cities.
Yeah, I think the movie's supposed to take place in Miami, right? I never
Yes.
actually felt like I thought it was like Los Angeles for like the first half of the movie. Then when it said Miami, I was like, oh,
They
right,
said, yeah,
yeah,
there weren't outside of the intro. I don't think there were even any palm trees I noticed. And that's like, dude, it's Florida. You got to have like 850,000 palm trees.
yeah,
Well, Michael Bay makes up for palm trees with bullets
yeah.
and misogyny.
Well, I was
So
expecting there to be like 20 alligators in like the final fight, like
no,
every
no, no,
fight.
that would have made it more interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But no alligators.
All right. So I believe after the opening credits, we're introduced to the villains of the movie. I cannot remember any of their names, and their their
I
initial
didn't know their
plan
names.
for stealing the was it heroin? Yeah, I think it was.
Lots of heroin.
Yeah, it made like just seeing it in action made like absolutely no sense to me because like
It, it,
he was like yeah yeah he like this guy was like put on disguise. He was like yeah yeah I look like a real cop. He was like yeah you do. And then he shoots him out of the back of the truck, and then I guess like it was supposed to like make it so like oh a cop's down and like supposed to like bring all the police to that area to like see the dead cop. And I
as
guess
a decoy.
yeah, but like still there should be like many like not every cop in Miami is gonna go to that one place to see the cop.
Well, Jacob, you don't understand what movie you're in.
Yeah, right. This is Michael Bay.
The
Hold
Miami
on.
police is a fucking hive mind that responds at the same time, or if they don't, it's just Will Smith.
Yeah. So and they fucking like they transport the heroin on like a bobsled or something like that. I don't know.
I felt like there's a shot. There's one fucking shot. I wish I could have like screenshotted it, something like that, of one of the guys. I don't know which one. I don't care which one, but it's really close, and it's like it's baffling how weird it looked. Like it felt like I was like having a stroke. Like
Also,
that whole sequence. That
yeah,
whole sequence. I'm just finishing on the point with that sequence in Actus with like the bobsled and stuff. It felt like I was watching like the I don't even know how to describe it, like a fucking Disney park ride. It didn't like
yeah, it did
you
look
go
like
from
that.
like, even though it's silly, the intro is grounded in reality. I mean, kicks the guy in the balls, but like then he punches him again. Like I can imagine that happening in the real world. And then we're transported to like the Cat in the Hat set, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Did you notice when like they injected the guy like the security guy with like the needle? It was like this like very like obviously like green serum that they use in like every like 80s and 90s
Yeah,
movie as like some
yeah,
sort of poison.
it looked weird.
Yeah.
I'm talking with Ecto Cooler over here. It's like,
Yeah, it
Jesus.
did look like that. Yeah. So anyway, the villain's plan didn't make much sense to me, but like whatever. It's a Michael Bay movie.
Was it Fauché? Was that his name? Did I remember his name?
Yeah, it's Fauché.
Fuck yes. Okay, sorry. I didn't think I'd remember any
Yeah.
of their names, but I did.
Yeah, I don't remember any there. Like I think Fauché is the only one I'll ever like
Of the
maybe
villains,
remember. Yeah.
the fat
So
guy, there's the angry small man.
yeah. So yeah, then we're introduced to like I guess like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's like living situations. I just gotta say, Martin Lawrence like feels like pre Adam Sandler before he like actually like started like those dumbass movies because he's always like this like bumbling buffoon who's like kind of fast talking. But I guess like
Yeah,
yeah,
here you go. You continue. Sorry.
no, I like like so like I was like kind of like thinking like why like actually I don't even know like I was like
You're curious.
so confused.
You're
Yes.
confused as to
Yeah.
why he's
Also,
like a
no. Yeah.
bumbling
The reason why I
buffoon.
wrote that down actually was because his wife is way higher than him, like every other Adam Sandler wife. Yeah.
I agree with you on that point, but
Yeah.
I would not find myself confused at his character whatsoever. The point is that he's a cop and he's like decent at what he does. He's more by the books than Will. But the point I think of the whole movie, I'm gonna go out there, is that he's a fucking absolute dweeb that should have no friends.
I guess. Yeah.
And the point is that he has to pretend to be Will Smith, who is like this alpha apex male.
That
Like
is like the
that's
one thing I will give this movie that does slightly different is the trading places thing. But I think we'll get to that slightly later. So I was gonna say,
I think.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I was going to say I think the point of the character being like this neurotic weirdo is because it puts him so much further out of his element to pretend to be Lowry.
yeah.
Of all
I
the
think
things in
that
this
part of the
movie,
movie
I felt
makes
like that
sense.
was intentional.
Yeah, but the way they get there is, but anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
I see that. It just kind of happens about a third of the way through, and then it just before the final showdown, it's just dropped,
yeah. Uh,
which felt quite strange.
so yeah, there's always some banter after that, and at some points it just felt like Michael Bay was just like pointing a camera at Marlon Lawrence Will Smith and was just like, "Be funny."
Say funny things.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff. I know some like bad ADR during like some of the cart scenes where like Will Smith
Yeah,
was talking and it did the lip syncing not work at all.
it
But
was
like,
probably just like do some riffs, like make some jokes, and then we'll put whatever in with the best
yeah.
looking shot.
Also, there's a Driving Miss Daisy reference, which
Yep.
really dates this movie because no one cares about that movie nowadays.
I feel like you reference the only reason you hear about it is because of movies like this referencing it. People know
Yeah,
more about like hey, Miss Daisy, that's in the car with the guy and the girl, right? Like no one's actually fucking seen it. They know it's been referenced in everything from this to like epic rap battles of history, you know?
yeah. So yeah, then I'm not 100% sure why, but like Will Smith's like friend slash lover, like I guess like investigates or like does she do sex work or something for like the like one of like the mob
It
workers?
that was one of the only scenes that I didn't fully understand, but probably because I have no idea the inner workings of Miami sex trafficking work. So that probably leads to my ignorance. No, but I didn't like there was like some old lady who was like, oh, this guy, he seems rich. He's looking for women. He seems very desperate, so just please him. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
who is this? Who is that?
And then
It felt,
yeah.
yeah.
And then the even dumber shit happens where she brings along what's her name, Julie. She was like, oh yeah, I have plans with my friend. I'll bring her along too to also do
But
the sex work and stuff.
no, it was the older woman who said that. It was like, you have a roommate, right? She's cute. Bring her along. And then the woman is like, okay.
Yeah, it's so
like,
weird. The whole sequence.
It is such a strange setup to the Julie character. I mean, I get it. She has to have the motivation to be on edge so she can become closer to the bad boys TM. But it was like, they could have just been in the guy's house. They didn't need an explanation for that.
Yeah, they did not. It felt way too convoluted, and the way they got there was just like pretty messy. And
absolutely. And then the scene in the house was pretty hilarious, though.
Yeah. They kill her. They kill Will Smith's friend for like no reason, and then his
murder is cool. Yeah. And these movies,
they run away, and like she runs away, and then Martin Lawrence comes in, big action scene, all sparks flying everywhere. It's like
no, you're getting like fucking 30 minutes ahead of yourself.
Wait, am I getting 30 minutes?
Not 30 minutes, but you're getting ahead of yourself. They leave the building because they're chasing after Julie because she's a witness. She manages to get to relative safety, and then demands that Lowry.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He kind of knows who Lowry is through his dead friend, and then that's when you have to be Mike Lowry. You have to be Mike, buddy. Yeah.
Because like Will Smith was like preoccupied at the time. There's like some hammer guy. I don't know why. But like he was like,
he's in a house, and then he just knocks Will Smith out of a window, and he's just not in the movie for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah. So then like what's his name? Joe Pantaliano.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, he plays the same character in every movie. Like the New York Italian. Like even the Matrix, he plays the same character in every movie. So he was like, oh wow, you gotta be Mike Lowry.
Gotta be Mike.
And then he was like, all right. So he does like his like best like Will Smith impression for like 2 minutes maybe.
When he does that impression, it's pretty fucking good, and then he stops. Yeah. And I'm sad because it was like he's actually kind of killing it with that. I think.
Well, because he's a comedian and he's good at that stuff, I guess. But yeah. So then he goes over there. I was gonna say the set design in Julie's like apartment was like really weird because like, there's this giant ass clock. like in the spot for like the fireplace, and just like a fan like on the ground.
Apartments are weird.
Yeah.
Will Smith lives in like a studio apartment, which I guess makes sense because he said he was rich. I'm not questioning that. It's like incomprehensible in layout too.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
So weird. It felt like a fun house that someone lived in.
It felt. You wanted to see Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
It's like when Pedro's in the empty business area before he wishes to have like a billion workers. It looks just like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Weird connection. I gotta bring Wonder Woman 84 into the Bad Boys review. But.
Yeah. I was gonna say also like during some of these scenes, like the soundtrack really kicks in. It's very 90s, like rap and like pop songs at the time, and that just makes you wonder.
It's also very Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Oh.
What songs would like play
which angle are you going for?
Well, actually, we would probably get that answer with Bad Boys for Life, but we haven't seen that yet. So.
I have seen Bad Boys for Life. I felt like I was missing something. I feel like the thing I was missing was the other two films.
Yeah. Well, I guess now we'll get that. Yeah.
They weren't. Well, I was going to joke that they weren't orange in that movie because it wasn't directed by Michael Bay. But they weren't orange in this movie either.
There were like some like establishing shots that were like a bit orange and like part of the final battle, but like it was a relatively like normally lighted movie.
The color grading was sane.
Yeah. Granted, like some of like the orange lighting I kind of enjoy because like it's something different from like other.
It's also in the little bits that were in this. It's Miami,
Yeah, it makes sense.
You recommend orange sign oranges? I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
some correlation somewhere.
Yeah.
We're at the apartment. Yeah, your notes, right?
Big action scene because like the mafia or like the drug cartel finds them. Like shit tons of sparks. Martin Lawrence flies over a car.
Yeah, he really did that.
Even though I feel like that's
Also,
like almost never like faster than just like walking around the car.
well, they were like two cars. They were parked back to back, so I think it was quicker in that situation. But I'd like to use this discussion about this scene to bring forth. Michael Bay is an action director. He makes action movies. However, every shootout in this movie gave me a fucking seizure.
Yeah, this wasn't like really like it was an action movie, but like it was fairly.
It's a crime movie. It is a crime movie. I'm joking, but it is.
There was like 4 big action scenes, I would say.
And one of them was good, and it was in the fucking club because it was actually like choreography and stuff. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't great, but it was at least fine. It's like Mission Impossible Fallout Light.
Yeah, I guess you would say that. So yeah, then Martin Lawrence brings Julie to Will Smith's place. But like I felt like it was really funny when she was like, "Why wouldn't you go for your place?" And Martin Lawrence is like, "Yeah, my place. Yeah, my place." Like when he was like,
the most obviously lying man ever. Yeah. Like that was so stupid that it did amuse me.
Yeah,
like every spit of bullshit he spouts made it like a little funnier.
Yeah, there was, and like he brought her house. I think there was like a Terminator 2 reference. Even that movie only came out like a few years before like this movie came out.
I think that's why. No, it was actually no. Wait, yeah, Terminator 2 came out after this, right?
No, it was before this. But like it was only like,
Terminator 2 was
a couple of years, I think.
Let me fact check because I believe you're right now that you say it with more conviction, but I just forgot. I thought it was.
He was 91. This was
91. Okay, so yeah, that's like 4 years earlier than the movie came out, but it's only like 2 or 3 when it was filmed, probably.
Yeah, this would be like a modern movie making like a fucking like a Hitman's Bodyguard reference. Even though that doesn't correlate at all.
That's definitely not what it would be. It would be like a movie, an Interstellar reference, a popular movie.
I guess, yeah. I don't know why Hitman's Bodyguard was the first thing that came to mind.
That's really that you need to get that checked out, man. Like,
yeah, I need to. I'll need to sleep on that one. Yeah. So brings her to Will Smith's place.
Will Smith's not including an apartment.
Yeah. So and then like eventually, I guess like Will Smith has to pretend to be Martin Lawrence, and then
he doesn't have. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was gonna argue that point. He doesn't have to be Martin Lawrence. He just has to live in his house. Yeah.
There was a really funny line where he's like, "We ain't the Cosbys," and I was like, man, another Cosby joke that just won't age well.
Like, that was in the same scene where Pantaliano is shooting basketballs and he can't hit it, and then Will Smith just fucking hits an instant hoop because that's what happens in movies.
That scene where like Joe Pantaliano and Martin Lawrence were talking over each other, I was just like, oh my god, please shut up, because it's like 2 like relatively annoying voices just screaming at each other.
Well, the other thing is Martin Lawrence's character, I think as like the kind of loser dweeb who's still like pretty good at his job, is like almost like it was perfect as that role, like he said, like an Adam Sandler and kind of fellow. But Pantaliano's character is written like shit. He's like, I don't care if you get killed on the job. You got to do the job. You got to get the heroin. We're gonna get closed by this fucking blonde lady that is never explained. That everyone seems to think he wants to fuck.
I was like, is she his boss? Is she like she doesn't have authority over him? Like who?
She did have authority over him ultimately, but you don't know that until the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so like I think like after like Martin Lawrence brought Julie to Will Smith's apartment, maybe like a day or 2 after, like he really did not have to. They really did not have to keep that act going, like because Will Smith came, so who like was his partner, so like if we're talking like realistically here, but we're not. But like they really did not.
No, we're not, because it's Michael Bay.
Yeah. There was like some like weird gay joke when like when Julie like found like all.
I was surprised Michael Bay allowed that, considering he didn't seem the kind of person to say like anyone can be gay in 1995, where it was super cool to be homophobic. Yeah.
There's also a vegan joke like after like with like the bologna. So I'm just wondering, would this be progressive for the time, or would it more offensive?
The vegan thing might be more offensive because it's clearly adding to the characterization of Julie as a fucking like not like a nuisance. I can't speak. Like he's just eating his sandwich. He was eating a sandwich before, and then Will Smith makes a joke about like you still eating that like Burger King shit, man. And then later in the movie, he's eating a sandwich. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be another joke. Is someone else gonna tell him like a running joke, like with how jokes are normally told? But no, it's just this like 8-minute long like vegan scene.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. Also, that sandwich he ate looked pretty good. Not gonna lie, I was hungry.
It's probably just a regular like cold cut sandwich,
Yeah.
which is fine. I mean, it's also movie food for the record.
Yeah. So by this point, movies basically just trading places. We're gonna see like Will Smith and in Martin Lawrence's house, and we got some kind of funny dialogue where he's like explaining
the dialogue's amusing. I would say at least
where he's like explaining like gruesome cop stories to his kids, and this might happen a little later, but like the part where like they're like looking through like the photo album and like they and Martin Lawrence thought that like when he said pull it out, like that was his dick in the photo.
It was Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's wife are looking at embarrassing photos of Martin Lawrence, and he calls them. He's like, he sees a lead or whatever. He's like, oh, I'm gonna call them, see how they're doing. And then it's the dialogue out of context sounds like they're having sex. So he literally just goes, okay, Julie, we're going somewhere. Don't ask why. And then he fucking tries to break into his own house. Will Smith tackles him.
This was like later in the movie, but like, yeah, that was like really funny. For like
that was actually amusing. And it's because it's also like it gets him to do. It's not like he doesn't just go on the call like, no, you guys aren't having sex. Hell no. No, he fucking drives over to like beat him up. Like, that's incredible.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that's probably the most amusing. And then one of the only scenes where the villains weren't just like annoying non-factors was when they're just watching because they're looking at Lowry. Well, they're trying to see Martin Lawrence, so they're at Martin Lawrence's house where Lowry is, where Will Smith is, and then Martin Lawrence is trying to break into his own house. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then when they're fighting because Will Smith thinks it's an actual like criminal. They're just gonna kill each other. Why are we even here? Like that was one of the only moments where because the villains, the main villain is Fouché, right? Yeah. Just nondescript fucking European man that then kills anyone that annoys him. Like the most basic, like it's basic enough that he made me mad. Like I'm just like this character is so generic and horrible that like he infuriated me.
Yeah, the villain was very stereotypical. I'll say like I mind like stereotypical villains because like the villain of like Die Hard is like pretty stereotypical. But,
he has character to him. Exactly. This guy is like
some character.
That's probably the best example. Is Die Hard taking even the minor terrorists. Like you have like the tech guy, you have like the Nordic guy. They all have personalities. And this one is like the fat guy, the angry short guy, and then the villain.
Like the fucking banter between those two was like so funny. He was like, you couldn't catch him, but you're so fat.
They're literally in one scene in the beginning and one scene at the end. If they were like throughout instead of like the college student scientist who gets killed off screen or the main villain, like imagine if they were the main villains. That would be awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah,
exactly.
Also, in some of like one of the scenes where they're at Will Smith's house, they're like there was definitely some poop jokes, maybe like a fart joke or two, like with like the dogs and stuff, which which it's like an early sign of Michael Bay's like toilet humor, but this was definitely more subtle.
Dog humor from the Transformers movies.
Yeah, so but this is definitely more subtle than what we're gonna get to with the Transformers movies. And then like, No, you can go.
I was thinking about it.
So then after that, I think like they went to the club to like try and like investigate those guys, which I think the club scene is probably like, one of the best scenes because like club scenes
pound for pound
in the 90s are awesome. Like Blade and shit.
Yeah. But I was saying about that scene, it also had the largest amount of things that were not compromised by Bay's style. The party, like before this, he shot music videos. So having a scene in a club, you can actually shoot it like a music video and it feels in context.
Yep.
Then you also have the characters intersecting. Martin Lawrence has now gotten him so deep into this lie and so deep in this case that he has to go investigate. Will Smith is just like, the person I kind of love just got killed. I need to get some ass. So he leaves to like, and then Julie at home sees the guy and is like, oh my God, that's fucking him. And then she actually does something and tries to kill him, which causes a ruckus. There's a lot of, and the action scene is actually fairly well choreographed in comparison to the
like the one
fucking shootouts.
Well, first of all, it starts with Martin Lawrence saying "sup" to a guy who's like next to him in the urinal, which you don't do if you're male, you know not to do that. But anyway,
that's what happens in movies.
Yeah.
If you're in a urinal and a 7'5" man dressed like Hulk Hogan is pissing next to you, you have to say hello to him. It's like one of the 10 Commandments, I think.
Yeah. So then, like, he puts like another guy comes up and like he puts a bag like on his head, which I'm just saying, like, when you put like a bag over someone's head, it's a perfect opportunity to bring in a stunt double to do shit that Martin Lawrence can't do.
Would not do,
which they did. And there's some like cool like kicking with it, and like actually like good like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, well, it's again bafflingly good considering the rest of the action. Like I wanted to see more of that shit.
Yeah, destroy the fish tank and shit. And then pretty much like
did you notice something?
The height.
Did you notice something about the fish tank? It breaks before he's thrown into it. Like obviously before he's thrown into it. That's a good one. Sorry, that was something I noticed.
No, yeah, that's true. And then like. Obviously, she came and like, which not for a particularly good reason, but I guess
a reason.
Then. Yeah. So then after that, when they escaped, this was like when I believe the first explosion in Michael Bay's career during the car chase.
Yeah,
the ice cream truck or whatever.
The first one.
Yeah. It's so petite when compared to like all his other ones. It's kind of cute,
especially at the end of this movie.
Yeah. Well, when we get to that, yeah, true. So. Yeah, so like also like when I said at a certain point, there's not really much point to like the whole switching places thing, but like
at that, when Julie decides to go to the club, she becomes a character in the movie rather than like exclusively a plot device. And at that point, that's about when she meets the actual Lowry, is when the facade can end, because that's the guy you wanted to see.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd probably not be happy about it, but at least it is him.
Yeah, and there wouldn't really be much conflict in regards to like, oh, you're a real cop or whatever. Like, yeah, there's really no excuse for that.
But anyway. Interestingly, Julie didn't care about that. It was understandably it was Martin's wife, who's like, absolutely goes off on him, like how dare you? And then it's not addressed again, which was super strange. The whole scene, like a whole 3-5 minute scene where he's trying to explain, he's trying to bring a rationale, he's trying to convince her, and then the end of the movie begins, like the action begins, and it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all pretty messy at that point. So yeah, like there's like a weird like run-in with like some like drugstore guy who like
that was meant to be a comedic scene, but I did not find that funny at all.
Yeah, as we said, Martin Lawrence said, and some Skittles. I don't know. I just wrote down.
That made me like smile, because it's like that stupid 90s action shit. Like that is earnest. It sucks. It's not actually funny, but that makes it funny.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, Martin Lawrence and Julia are in bed together, and then of course there's another first instance of Michael Bay where the main character is trying to, where the main girl character is trying to fuck the main guy character, which is basically like in every Michael Bay movie, because the female characters are basically as well written as
they are essentially fleshlights.
Yeah, so I was a bit disappointed by that, but I expected that. Then I think
I wanted to an aside about the character, because there were two thoughts I had that really fucked with me the whole movie, or like in order. Let me explain. The first half of the movie, I'm like, oh my god, this girl looks like Megan Fox. I'm like, how does he keep getting away with this? she has the same like Kristen Stewart mouth breathing thing, very similar facial features, and then she said something. I don't remember when it was, and then I realized, holy shit, that's the bitch from Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah. Oh my god, it is. You're right.
I'm like, oh my god, it was, and then I was looking at IMDb of the first two, because I'm like, after this movie ended, because I'm like, she's like, oh, she's like part of the boys. Is she in the second movie? And no. And then I remembered that Jurassic Park 3 came out the same year.
Yeah, she was
So
busy.
she probably wasn't in the sequel because of that.
Yeah, was that a good decision? I honestly don't know because they're both probably pretty shitty
They're
movies.
both they're both very crummy movies. Oh,
Yeah.
I actually have seen the second one, and it is at least more interesting than this, if I remember correctly. But Jurassic Park 3 has like some irony points.
Yeah, that movie basically has like no reason for existing. But anyway,
That's
back to
okay.
Bad Boys. So yeah, I think that then this was the point where Martin Lawrence saw his wife was cheating on him with Will Smith. So like that's when he went to the house and all the weird slapstick.
Yeah, about then.
Yeah. So anyway, because of the stupid ass plan that Michael Lawrence had, I think was this the point where Julie got captured by the mafia, or did they almost get captured?
She is okay. The one scene when they all go back because they're trying to get the like Joe Pantaliano's like you got to do this pretty fast. You know we're under a lot of pressure here. So they're all back at what is ultimately Mike's house, both of them and her, and then the Martin Lawrence's wife appears.
Right.
And then they have the discussion like, look, you cheated, and then Julie just leaves. She's like, I don't feel like dealing with this. And like,
Right.
honestly, respect in that moment. I'm with her there.
Yeah.
And then she goes downstairs, and then all the fucking mafia men are there.
Right.
All of them. And there's a scene where they just shoot for like 30 seconds. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm. And then that's the point where Will Smith goes on foot to chase the car.
With like an unbuttoned shirt.
Yeah. And I just say I love chase sequences where like characters just run through like random buildings and like a bunch of like weird ass side characters are there. Like the fucking salon, like all the grandmas. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you look pretty" or something like that.
Yeah, no, Michael Bay does that. Now I think about it, Michael Bay does that a lot. That particular trope. Once again, I know Transformers was hell original. He does that in the first and I think second ones, at least, just off the top of my head.
Because like I guess you know, if you're having chases and run through buildings, you might as well include some like random goofy ass
random people.
Yeah.
Usually ethnic people.
So
I'm thinking of Transformers 2 and 4 when like I think a Transformer goes through a fucking building, you just see an Asian man eating noodles and it lingers on him for like 30 seconds. Like I know, and they're in like Hong Kong in that scene. I think so. It's the beginning of that movie when we get there. But like it's baffling. It's like you didn't need to zoom in on this fucking like 80-year-old man eating his noodles because a car just jumped through a building.
Well, Michael Bay likes his stereotype humor.
Oh boy, he loves it.
Oh god. So yeah. Honestly, the last this point from the last chase to the final battle is kind of a blur to me. I just remember like she gets captured at one point, and then like then they get like some like guy who like in prison for like hacking to like find their location.
Oh yeah, just random guy out of nowhere. There's another like 7-foot man who's like, I can hack you guys as long as you get me out of jail. You're gonna get me out of jail, right? I'm like, this was the thing about that scene that really fucking peeved me. I'm not saying I'm expecting story coherence from Bay or like particularly great story, but the movie was like consistent up to that point. I didn't like most of the story, but it's like it follows a formula. At this point, they're trying to get the file on Ed, whatever the fuck, right? Whatever the guy's name is. And they're like, we can't do it. We're not good enough at technology. And they keep mentioning it. They don't do anything about it, but they keep mentioning it. So obviously, at the end of the movie, they just get a random guy from prison to hack into it. That's never been mentioned once and has never appeared.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been like maybe they get Julie to do it. Not at that point, but like, I don't know. They could have done something else.
Yeah. So anyway, when we get the final sequence, they're with like the other two detectives who we didn't mention up to this point because like.
They're both. See, you start saying Michael Bay loves certain people. They're just Mexicans. That's them. Yeah. They always make yo mama jokes. That's just like at least 4 from them alone.
Yeah. So he's with them, and I gotta say the final action sequence, pretty cool. Nothing too crazy except for like the final explosion.
What do you mean nothing too crazy? Did we see the same movie?
I mean, like, I'm talking like in comparison to like other Bay movies, but like it's like there's like some like crazy shit. Like especially the last explosion, I think like all things considered, like it's fairly quaint when compared to like Transformers.
I'm sorry, but I know it's the same director, but that's a horrible comparison. You literally have $200 million of robots ripping each other in half and shit. This is a cop movie. with just cops against some drug guys, and it's not just a shootout. It's like it looks like a Call of Duty map, and it felt like a Call of Duty match. There's just random explosive canisters everywhere to conveniently shoot.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, maybe
the fat
I was
guy
a
is
little
executed.
under exaggerating it.
The fat guy is executed by Will Smith.
Yeah.
Who dumps a fucking shotgun blast?
I'm not sure how more how moral Will Smith is, and I guess Martin Lawrence to an extent for killing all these people. I know it's an action movie, I shouldn't care about it, but at some point, at a certain point, really, yeah, you have to.
Well, that's the thing about Will Smith's character is that he's constantly I love being in the field. I love killing people. I haven't killed anyone in fucking 3 days, Joe Pantaliano, or whatever. And it's excuse me? Why to cure his bloodlust?
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, it's silly. They're ready to kill and whatever. They're doing a drug deal with the guy who looked like John Goodman, who was killed instantly for no fucking reason. The only kill I think was really earned was the guy at the end. And that was, I think, a pretty okay gag. Mm-hmm. I thought the gag at the end, because it's literally the most nothing. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy, where the villain is the most nothing character, so they could just do something stupid around him and it works. Where they're like, oh, this guy's not worth it. This guy's a joke. This guy's stupid. And then he's pulling on a fucking gun. Because they're too busy bickering. That's funny.
No, yeah.
And I don't think that would have been funny if it was a real character, but I kind of wish he was a real character.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. There was some really funny one-liners where Martin Lawrence about to shoot an explosive canister. He's no, he's shooting the airplane that they're about to escape in. He's you forgot your boarding pass, and then the plane explodes.
That was there was that. There was the end Skittles line. Those were the most 90s parts of it. Those sorts of cheesy needle drop one-liners about stupid shit. It is the Call of Duty map. What's the one? Terminal. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Or something wait, what's it called?
Call of Duty at Terminal, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. So
that's the Call of Duty map. Even I know about it.
Yeah. I'm very behind on the Call of Duty knowledge.
Last game I played was Black Ops 2, Jacob. It's okay.
That's all right. So yeah,
which I think had Terminal in it. sorry. It was refocused.
Blah, explosions. By the end, what's his face? The end villain is left. Fawcett.
We're calling him Fawcett now.
Yeah, Fawcett. So he's so at a certain point, you think Will Smith might be sympathetic toward him because which I've been all right, fine, you don't have to kill everyone, be a decent cop. And then he fucking whips out a shotgun pistol or something.
No, he whips out the shortstop from Team Fortress 2, literally.
Yeah, and then Will Smith kills him, and that's basically the end of the movie. And then the Bad Boy song plays, and I was
again, it plays in small fragments throughout the movie as it's building up to some sort of grandiose drop. I also like the part where Martin Lawrence handcuffed him and just fucking left. That was the perfect end because he's I'm sick of this. I hate this shit. I'm going back to my family. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
After Julie's annoying him. After Julie annoys him for a week and a half, and Will Smith is come on, Martin. I gotta kill. Foaming at the mouth. You also notice at the final scene when it's he's going to kill. He is going to kill Fawcett. He is, and then Martin's he's not. He pulls him away. Not worth it, right? And then Will Smith doesn't just shoot him. He literally unloads a whole mag into him.
Yeah.
To make a point, in front of the entire SWAT team who have just arrived. They're probably Mike Lowry, classic Mike Lowry move. Putting eight fucking rounds into some nondescript European man.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Bad Boys. I think overall, I think it's I think I would say it's good enough to be okay in my opinion.
It's adequate. It's satisfactory, but it doesn't really stand out that much. I mean, I feel at the end here, we could use an opportunity to go over how Bay's directing directly, plays into the movie, how you can see his influence. I think that would be a good place to kind of to go now, because we've already gone over the most of the plot and the events.
Yeah,
and
definitely. So like this is definitely like probably like one of the most tame he is, or he's gonna be at least, like in terms of like looking at it at this point in his career.
For Camel, obviously color grading.
Yeah.
Camel work is fairly fine.
Yeah.
There was one moment.
Shot.
A lot of with other discussions, which is, I mean, later he always does shot reverse shot with like fucking Dutch angles for some reason. But in this movie, the only like standout, like, oh, that's Michael Bay, would be the beginning with the buildings, or maybe the fake buildings. I don't know.
But I think they're real. They're just like shot weirdly.
Yeah, but the only point I would say was like unmistakably Michael Bay, but I think that's because it was people liked it so much they put it in other ones. Was after the foot chase, and at the hotel, not the hotel, the apartment complex. They both get up after Laurie saves Mark. I don't even remember what Martin Lynch's fucking character's name is, because everyone calls everyone Mike Lowry.
Marcus, but I think.
Marcus, thank you. Holy shit! First time either of us have said Marcus, I think, the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Marcus and Mike just got through it. Mike saved Marcus, and they both stand up, and it does the camera from the bottom left of the screen panning up to their face as they stand triumphantly. That is Michael fucking Bay. He does that in every movie after this, I think. Or, I mean, I can see that for sure, but it feels like every movie after this.
I wonder if there's any movies where they, like, this is like almost like a 0% chance of happening. Maybe there's just one Michael Bay movie where, you know, the heroes don't come out on top at the end. But, you know, like, basically every movie does that. So I'm not gonna, like, fault him for that, but, like, it's always, like, so, like, romanticized.
Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
I mean, any movie where the heroes don't win. Yeah, most of them are like pro-military, pro-government. So if they lost, you'd be taking these large institutions that give you a lot of money down. This movie, it's a cop movie, which is pretty close.
I guess it's close. You probably didn't get like any funding for like this movie, but like still, I guess you can like tell like what he values the most in like in his filmmaking. I guess even like slightly in his politics as well.
Yeah, I mean, after like maybe Armageddon, it starts to be like computer screens, military men.
Yeah,
that's when it begins, I think, because it's like, I'm pretty sure it is Armageddon. Yeah. And then the Transformers movies are just, the first three Transformers movies are the most fucking pro-military movies. Like, even not just ideological, not like Optimus Prime goes, I support the U.S. military, but like half the screen time is dedicated to some facet of the military and or government. Mm-hmm. But the last two, no, actually, bad example. The fourth one isn't. The fifth one still is.
Okay, but like, yeah.
The fourth one, oh my god, the fourth Transformers is going to be a fucking hell of an episode. I'll tell you that. There's so much to unpack with that the godforsaken movie.
Yeah, but I think as it is, you know, like, there's something like, you know, bad he has to say about anything. Like, I don't like there's definitely like a slight you know, I'm not sure if I would agree with that, or like in terms
you don't see this and say like, oh my god, that Michael Bay makes terrible movies like this, you know?
Yeah, this was perfectly fine. We nitpicked this movie to death, but like if we weren't making a podcast about it, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's fine, nothing really too much to complain about. Even though like
within the time, there are better action movies now.
But it's just like, you know, it's a standard cop movie with just like a Trading Places kind of twist on it,
and two pretty good leads. We have talked very little about Will Smith. He's just there to sound like vaguely edgy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much him. Like, you think, oh my god, it's Will Smith. He's the hero. He's one of the protagonists technically, but he doesn't get nearly as much screen time as Martin Lawrence. Definitely not as many lines. And his existence in the plot is essentially to be
his antithesis.
He's a foil, and then he's also like a mask that is worn by Martin Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, the two leads were originally intended to be Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes, which you could like not really tell, because they also name drop Wesley Snipes a few times in the movie.
They do, yeah. Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy. I can obviously if that happened, I don't think it'd be that different, frankly.
No, we're not, because like
They
in a lot
feel
of
the
ways they are
same.
kind of
They
the
would
same
feel
character.
exactly the same. Yeah, archetype, exactly the word I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe. But Will Smith with this just began as popular. I mean, he had like Fresh Prince and music and stuff. But I feel like this movie was one of the first mainstream films that was like, oh, it's that Will Smith guy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess
Independence Day is not long after, right?
Yeah. Independence Day was the year
That's what
after.
really got him to fame. But this is not long before.
Well, yeah.
Is this
I guess it's like what proved him to be like a movie star
an
after
action
Fresh Prince.
star at least?
Here, let me just say a couple of fun facts about the film from cool sources. Definitely not IMDb. So here's one. At the beginning of the movie, Marcus, or Martin Lawrence's character, comments that he wouldn't get food from Denny's because he, quote unquote, don't like the way we've been treated. Because in the 90s, Denny's settled a few lawsuits that accused the staff of racism.
Don't go to Denny's anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that line is kind of fun because I did not get that when I heard it, but like, yeah, it's a very like.
I don't remember him mentioning Denny's.
It was like in the beginning, I think.
I can imagine where it is, but it did not. Whatever.
It's not worth thinking about anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So according to the commentary, when filming the driving Miss Daisy scene, Martin Lawrence had complained to Michael Bay that Will Smith had called him a bitch and he didn't like it. Bay told him to respond accordingly.
That scene was pretty raw. Like that felt like Face Off, where the actors like actually hated each other.
I fucking love Face Off. It's one of my like
Face Off is one of the movies. It is one of the movies ever. But like I'm saying, that like hostile energy between the actors, like I felt something like that in that scene. I guess that makes sense.
Also, speaking of that, like you could definitely tell like some like influences on from like John Woo or like Hong Kong cinema, because John Woo did Face Off too, which only happened a couple years after that. Because like there was definitely like, a lot of like scenes.
That isn't that long.
Yeah, like the sparks and them like diving and like shooting their guns. It's like very like it's very John Woo-y and
John Woo-ian.
Yeah, which there wasn't enough of that, but like you can definitely tell like there was some influence from that. Yeah. Yeah. I think
I'm just more trivia. This one seems to indicate that the original title of this movie was Bulletproof Heart. It was written for John Lovitz and Dana Carvey.
No, not Dana Carvey.
Imagine Martin Lawrence's lines coming out of Dana Carvey's fucking stupid mouth.
Oh, gross. Oh my god, wait, I just found something. Martin Lawrence told GQ that Lawrence Fishburne turned down the role of Mike Lowry. It all comes full circle.
Oh my god. Oh, you... Oh, fuck.
See, I wasn't wrong. I was just thinking about pre-casting the process of the role.
You were getting ahead. You're a little bit ahead of the episode, truly.
Yeah. Oh, but dude, I cannot imagine Dana Carvey in that fucking role. I hate him so much. Like after watching Master of Disguise.
Master of Disguise really just ruins him.
Yeah. That's so funny though. Yeah. Yeah, I think we said pretty much everything we have to say about it. Unless you have something else to say. Any final thoughts on Bad Boys?
I was just gonna go over the bits of style, like women are treated as objects, etc. Like the shots are fairly generic, and then the action sequences are overly bombastic and way overly edited. Oh my god.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he started over edit. I mean, the point I was gonna make about him coming from music videos for this movie. I think that's a good point to conclude on. Well, I mean, it would have been a good point to start with, but it doesn't
it's
much
okay.
matter.
We're
getting it in there at some point.
It's our first episode. Earlier. Come on, cut some slack.
I alluded to it earlier, so mentioning it now is not unwarranted. But coming from music videos, heavy lights, everyone's fucking sweaty and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Extraordinarily fast editing between sequences as characters are dancing. Characters, performers are dancing around to the music that's playing, and you can see all of that easily, like integrated into this movie like immediately, like the first scene. I mentioned that scene was essentially a very very late addition,
Yeah.
but it has the same lighting. It has the doesn't have the editing because they're just mostly two guys in a car. But all the scenes of the club, all the scenes, there's like the scene, the boxing, that scene, it's meant to be comedic. Oh, he's stumbling around the boxing area. He doesn't know how to use the weights. That scene is very, it's got music playing. And also the music in this movie, outside of the Bad Boys, the licensed music is usually played while things are happening, so you can't hear it. It's like,
That's true.
and that kind of, even if it's not either that or in later movies, it's usually just the score of the movie rather than licensed music playing while things are happening, so you can't hear either of them that well. Becomes a large part of his style in essentially everything he does, whether it be action music or like sleazy dance music, whatever it is. That whatever it fucking is, it will be playing at the same time as something rather than in between scenes like some people would use music. And it's once again, it's like you watch this movie. If you notice that, like, oh man, this Michael Bay always does this, but coming from the background he does, it's not surprising. It's more surprising he became such a multi-billion creating action actor and still does those things.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
After Armageddon came out, he became the youngest director to ever like make $1 billion off his movies. So in some ways,
and that's after Armageddon. That's not even the Transformers movies.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive in some ways. It's just like his movies are usually just pretty shitty.
Yeah. They appeal to a general market or sometimes very specific market. This movie is people who like cop movies, which in 1995 was literally everyone.
Yeah.
Armageddon is a disaster movie in lieu of like Independence Day and Day After Tomorrow was not until a lot later, right? I'm thinking of something.
It was like around a decade later, maybe a little less.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know it was that far off. But like a disaster movie with it, and then Transformers movies. The first one didn't. I mean, is like it's based on a property, so it'll make money. But it is just a disaster movie with some really good CG in it. And the other movies are just like the fourth movie made $1 billion because because of this stuff with China. That's literally it. It's because he's marketing to either a very general or a very specific demographic. And something like this is, in its time, digestible in the same way that something like I said, Red Notice would be. You'd go see it, you'd probably forget about it a week after, or maybe you'd just be like, that was funny. I'm going to take lines from this and say them in real life because I don't know, it's the 90s. You could say whatever Will Smith said and pretend to be cool.
But how many times have you heard someone say a quote from Red Notice recently?
There's dialogue in that movie?
Nothing memorable, but yeah.
I suppose. So I know. I'm not saying it's exact correlation.
Yeah, no,
it's the same kind of.
Yeah.
Like this is for the 90s, like a popcorn flick. And then Michael Bay decided to make popcorn flicks of increasingly garbage quality as he continued to direct. It's interesting to look at it from that perspective, I think.
Yeah. In some ways, it's kind of interesting to see a director who, like, instead of trying to tell like the best stories possible, ones that like resonate with themselves. This is just a director who like values different things, who values spectacle, who values fun, who values like I guess like comedic dialogue that like doesn't and at least tries not to get the audience too bored. And like I guess that's respectable in some to some regard. But
outside of a few examples,
I mean, there were definitely parts where I was a little bored out of it, but like not really like out of like not trying,
Yeah, exactly. There's always an attempt to entertain an audience. Whether that works or not is very arguable. You could make like arguments from both sides, but there's always an attempt. Like we were saying, we mentioned all the dialogue, all the riffing and stuff. Almost anytime characters are on screen, they're talking about something, and whether they're cursing or attacking some weird marginalized group in like one line, like the are you gay, Martin Lawrence? Like something like that. Like it's okay to be gay in 1995, shit like that. At least it's better than just nothing. and at least not maybe not better, but
That's a
it's
good way
more
to say it. Just better than
it
nothing.
yeah. And there's one thing Michael Bay doesn't do, it's nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to end it.
I
So
would say so.
yeah. So join us on the next episode where we talk about The Rock, which most people
Think
consider
about
to be his best movie. So we'll have a lot to look forward to after that.
it's not one
Yeah,
I've seen,
yeah,
surprisingly. So I am excited.
yeah. So am I. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us on the first episode of the Baycast, and we will see you hopefully next week. But we're both college students, so the schedule can
You
be a
got
bit all over the
shit to
place.
deal with.
Yeah. All right.
Take care, people.
Take care. Bye.